Hello, passionate Celtic FC fans. This is Celtic Central News, your exclusive source for Celtic updates. Before we kick off, we appreciate the incredible support. If you love Celtic, subscribe now, hit like, and let's build this community together. Now, on to the latest news. A warm welcome to new subscribers. Your support is crucial. Hail! Hail! There's been an absolute whirlwind of speculation in the Scottish Premiership recently, and it seems that the rivalry between Celtic and Rangers might be about to reach a whole new level. Rumours are swirling through social media, forums, and even whispers from sources close to the clubs that Celtic could be making a move for none other than James Tavernier, the Rangers captain who has been a stalwart for the Light Blues for so many years. Think about it. The man has been a driving force from the right-back position, scoring goals, taking set pieces, and showing leadership on and off the pitch. For Celtic to even consider going after him would be audacious, but the whispers are persistent. And in football, we know that if there's smoke, there's usually fire somewhere. The notion alone has sent shockwaves across the fan bases, with Celtic supporters torn between excitement and anxiety, while Rangers fans are understandably furious at even the possibility. Tavernier has been synonymous with Rangers' recent successes, so the thought of him in a hoops shirt seems almost surreal. It's the kind of storyline that makes Scottish football thrilling, unpredictable, and just a little bit scandalous. Everyone is talking about it, and the speculation refuses to die down. Adding fuel to the fire is the idea that Celtic are actively looking to strengthen their squad in ways that send a statement across Scotland. They have been building a team capable of challenging Europe while dominating domestically, but acquiring someone like Tavernier would not just be a tactical upgrade, it would be psychological warfare. Imagine the impact on the old firm matches. The very man who has led Rangers with such conviction, now potentially on the other side, wearing green and white. That's the stuff that pundits dream of, the kind of narrative that fills headlines and sparks endless debate. Of course, the practicalities are enormous. Contracts, transfer fees, player loyalty. But football has always been about big gambles and even bigger surprises. Celtic may be assessing whether Tavernier, despite being a legend at Rangers, could bring experience, leadership, and a winning mentality to their backline. It's a move that, if true, would undoubtedly make waves, but also comes with massive risks. Supporters on both sides are already imagining scenarios, some impossible to stomach, some thrilling beyond belief. Every rumor adds more layers to the intrigue, and as always, the old firm never fails to deliver the drama fans crave. One thing that cannot be ignored is Tavernier's profile. He's not just a regular player, he's been pivotal in Rangers campaigns for years. His name is tied to memorable goals, crucial assists, and moments that have defined seasons. A Celtic chasing him would indicate an ambition that goes beyond domestic pride. It would be a strategic, audacious play aimed at disrupting Rangers' dominance. Analysts speculate about how such a signing could be justified in terms of playing style, finances, and long-term vision. Tavernier brings a unique combination of defensive solidity, attacking threat, and leadership qualities. It's rare to see a fullback who can influence games in so many dimensions, and Celtic reportedly see him as the missing piece that could elevate their squad. Of course, there are critics who argue about loyalty, legacy, and the backlash such a transfer would inevitably create. But football is a game of risks. And for a club like Celtic, making headlines is almost as important as winning matches. Rumors like this, whether they materialize or not, ignite the imagination of fans and pundits alike, keeping conversations alive around the intensity and unpredictability of the Scottish game. Sources close to the discussions have hinted that initial talks might be exploratory, focusing on feasibility rather than immediate action. This is the kind of strategic maneuvering that clubs employ behind closed doors, trying to gauge interest, potential obstacles, and market reactions before making a move public. Celtic would have to consider Tavernier's willingness to cross the divide, the potential fan response, and the tactical fit within their system. Meanwhile, Rangers would likely brace themselves, knowing that even the hint of losing a captain of such significance could destabilize morale. The psychology of football is as important as the tactics on the pitch, and this rumor highlights exactly why the Old Firm rivalry is more than just a game. Its identity, its pride, and its history. Tavernier moving to Celtic, even as speculation, tests the boundaries of what fans are willing to imagine, and the discussions online have reached fever pitch. From podcasts to social media threads, everyone is weighing in, trying to predict whether this is pure fantasy or the beginning of one of the most shocking transfers in Scottish football history. Interestingly, financial considerations are part of the chatter, as they always are in modern football. Tavernier's contract at Rangers is substantial, reflecting his importance and loyalty, but Celtic are known to be willing to invest strategically to secure marquee players who can change the complexion of the squad. Reports suggest that Celtic may be exploring options for structured deals or incentives that make the prospect more palatable for both player and club. In today's market, transfers are rarely just about money. They're statements of intent, signaling ambition to rivals and supporters alike. The Tavernier rumors tick every box: high profile, controversial, and potentially transformative. Celtic are acutely aware of the optics, but in the game of football, bold moves often create the biggest headlines. Whether or not it materializes, the speculation alone is reshaping conversations around the Premiership, illustrating how a single name can influence narratives, fan sentiment, and even strategies on the pitch. The intrigue is as much about possibility as it is about potential outcomes, and fans are devouring every nugget of news. Finally, the cultural impact of such a move cannot be overstated. Tavernier embodies the spirit of Rangers for many supporters, and seeing him even remotely linked with Celtic triggers passionate reactions. The social media sphere is alive with debate, memes, and speculation about how he would adapt, how fans would react, and what it would mean for the historic rivalry. Celtic supporters are simultaneously excited and cautious, imagining the tactical advantages while bracing for backlash from those who view the move as impossible. Football is not just sport, it's storytelling, and this rumor writes a chapter that could rival any dramatic narrative in the history of the Old Firm. Analysts are dissecting potential lineups, strategies, and the psychological effects on both squads. Even if the transfer never happens, the conversation itself shapes perceptions, builds anticipation, and maintains a sense of unpredictability that keeps Scottish football endlessly fascinating. The Tavernier to Celtic speculation is more than a transfer story. It's a cultural moment, a spark for debate, and a tantalizing what-if that refuses to fade. The tactical implications of Celtic potentially signing James Tavernier are almost too immense to fully comprehend, and yet that is exactly what fans, pundits, and rival supporters are trying to do. Tavernier is not just any fullback. He is a constant attacking threat, a set-piece specialist, and a captain who exudes authority across the pitch. For Celtic, integrating him into their squad would mean rethinking defensive structures, attacking transitions, and leadership hierarchies. Would he immediately slot into a familiar system, or would the team be built around his strengths to maximize the impact? Analysts are speculating endlessly, imagining scenarios where Tavernier's overlap runs, pinpoint crosses, and goal-scoring instincts redefine Celtic's approach in both domestic matches and European competitions. Some suggest that his presence could allow wingers to push higher, giving the team more width and versatility, while others worry that adjusting tactics to accommodate a player so used to commanding his former team could disrupt existing cohesion. It's a balancing act of strategy, psychology, and timing, where the potential rewards are huge, but so are the risks. Celtic are understood to be acutely aware of the scrutiny that would follow such a move, yet the lure of rewriting the narrative around the old firm rivalry appears to be a temptation too strong to resist. Fan reactions have been predictably explosive, and in many ways, they mirror the unpredictability of the Scottish football landscape. Celtic supporters are caught between exhilaration and apprehension, imagining Tavernier delivering goals and assists for their club, while simultaneously understanding the enormity of crossing a historic divide. Meanwhile, Rangers fans have been vocal, emotive, and sometimes vitriolic in their condemnation of even entertaining the idea, seeing it as a betrayal of loyalty and legacy. Social media threads, fan podcasts, and online forums have been flooded with speculation, analysis, and debates that rarely settle, only intensifying the narrative. Memes, videos, and commentary have emerged as fans grapple with the what-if, creating a cultural conversation that transcends the simple mechanics of a transfer. The rumor alone has shaped perceptions of both clubs' ambition, generating headlines, stirring emotions, and influencing the media landscape. In a rivalry where hindsight, identity, pride, and history are at stake, this is more than speculation. It's a potential seismic shift in Scottish football culture. Every fan has an opinion, every pundit a theory, and the conversation continues to grow, fed by curiosity, anticipation, and the sheer audacity of the idea. Financially, such a transfer would be complex, monumental, and unprecedented in the context of the old firm. Tavernier commands a substantial salary reflecting his importance at Rangers and his status as a club legend, and any approach from Celtic would require careful negotiation, structuring of contracts, and strategic planning to make the deal feasible. Reports indicate that Celtic might explore incentive-based deals or long-term agreements to entice Tavernier without destabilizing their wage structure or provoking legal complications. It's a reminder that modern football is as much about economics as it is about tactics, and high-profile moves like this are rarely just about the on-field contribution. They are statements of intent, signaling ambition, confidence, and a willingness to take risks. Celtic would be sending a message not only to Rangers, but to the entire Scottish football landscape, that they are prepared to be bold, audacious, and strategic in pursuit of dominance. Meanwhile, Rangers would have to brace themselves, facing the potential loss of a captain, a leader, and a symbolic figure whose presence has defined seasons. Every aspect of this rumor, from finances to tactical impact, is layered with drama and high stakes, making it irresistible to fans and media alike. Before we proceed, subscribe to our channel and enable notifications to receive all exclusive news about Celtic FC. Don't miss any details about your favorite team. It's extremely important for Celtic FC fans. There is also the human element to consider, which adds a layer of nuance to the speculation. Tavernier has spent years building his identity at Rangers, forging bonds with teammates, coaches, and supporters that are hard to replicate or replace. Crossing over to Celtic would not just be a professional decision, it would carry emotional, psychological, and cultural weight. Pundits are already debating how he might cope with pressure, scrutiny, and fan sentiment, and whether he could thrive in an environment where expectations are amplified and skepticism runs deep. The psychological dimension of football is often underestimated, but in moves like this, it becomes central. Tavernier's experience, resilience, and leadership would be tested in ways that transcend tactics or statistics. Celtic would have to provide not only the infrastructure to integrate him effectively, but also the emotional and motivational support to help him succeed amidst scrutiny. Fans are intrigued not only by the potential on-field impact, but by the story of adaptation, identity, and rivalry that would inevitably unfold. This is why the speculation continues to dominate conversations, because it touches on the very heart of what makes the Old Firm rivalry so compelling, dramatic, and endlessly fascinating. Media narratives are also amplifying the intrigue, with every mention, analysis, and podcast discussion adding layers to the speculation. Journalists, commentators, and insiders have been dissecting the potential move, evaluating scenarios, and offering theories that range from wildly optimistic to sharply critical. Every interview, every offhand remark, and every report feeds into a cycle of anticipation and debate that shows no signs of slowing. Even hypothetical discussions about Tavernier in a Celtic shirt influence perceptions of both clubs' strategy, ambition, and image. The story has become larger than the transfer itself. It has evolved into a cultural phenomenon, a topic that generates engagement, excitement, and sometimes controversy, while keeping both fan bases invested in a narrative that feels almost cinematic in scope. For media outlets, it's a dream storyline: high stakes, emotional resonance, historical context, and endless what-ifs. Whether Celtic actually secure Tavernier or not, the rumor has already achieved a level of impact that few transfers ever do, shaping discussions around ambition, loyalty, and the very identity of Scottish football. Finally, the long-term implications of this speculation are vast and unpredictable. Even the possibility of Tavernier moving to Celtic could influence how players, managers, and fans approach the Old Firm rivalry in the future. Tactics, psychology, transfers, and media narratives are all intertwined in ways that only become clearer with time. Celtic's willingness to explore such a move signals ambition and audacity, while Rangers' response both on and off the pitch would demonstrate resilience, loyalty, and the intensity of historic rivalry. For supporters, it is a dramatic what-if scenario that could redefine allegiances, conversations, and perceptions for years. In the end, football thrives on speculation, surprise, and the human stories behind the game, and Tavernier to Celtic embodies all of that. Whether it happens or not, it reminds everyone why the Old Firm is not just a match. It's a saga, a culture, and an unending source of drama, debate, and fascination. And as the whispers continue, the excitement and anticipation only grow, proving once again that in Scottish football, the next shock is always just around the corner. Hello, fan. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, as it means a lot to Celtic FC. Also, share your opinion about the news in the comments below. See you in the next video.